Hello, this is the Watchdog, and welcome back to Fun with Watches. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. Today we're going to review the Parnis Palm. Normally I give the reference number to the watch, but this watch does not have a reference number. I did not see anything listed in the AliExpress site, and I didn't see anything on the watch. So we'll just call it the Parnis Palm for now. Let's start out with the wrist check. I'm wearing my Casio MDV 106 Duro, also known as the Marlin. I'm wearing this because I'm going to the water park later, and this is my preferred water park watch. And Grogo's wearing my Pagani Design PD 1664, which is an homage to the Rolex Daytona. Grogo told Han Solo the story of the Princess and the Pea. So Han Solo decided to test Princess Leia and told Chewbacca to leave a pea between her mattress and her box spring. Unfortunately, Chewbacca misunderstood, and now they're shopping for a new mattress. Here's the watch. This is the very first Parnis I've ever owned or reviewed. And it looks a lot like the very brand new Rolex Datejust that has the palm dial. Except for the Rolex is a 36 millimeter, but this one's a little bit bigger. And normally I show the box that the watch came in, but this watch did not come in a box. They shipped it in a styrofoam package in a Ziploc bag. I don't know if any Parnises come in boxes or not. Once again, this is my very first Parnis, but this one did not. When I ordered the watch, I had a choice between the Miyota 8215 movement or the Mingzu 2813. And I went ahead and chose the Mingzu because I figured it'd be a better review. Most watch people are familiar with the Miyota 8215, but not as many will be as familiar with the Mingzu, which is the Chinese-made equivalent. Also, the Mingzu is $10 cheaper than the Miyota. I also had a choice of bezels. I had a choice between a smooth bezel, a fluted bezel, or an engraved bezel. I chose the smooth. I just think it looks better than the fluted. And I didn't consider the engraved because it didn't look like anything that Rolex offered. And the whole point of this is to make it look like a Rolex. I also had a choice between a 3-link bracelet and a 5-link bracelet. I went ahead and chose the 5-link because I think it's just more appropriate to the watch it is homaging. The watch is 38.8 millimeters at the bezel. Once again, it's bigger than the Rolex is pretending to be. It's 12.5 millimeters thick if you don't count the Cyclops. 47.4 millimeters lug to lug. Has a 20 millimeter lug width and weighs 130 grams on this metal bracelet. The dial looks a lot like the new Rolex palm dial that just came out. Once again, the Rolex is a 36 millimeter and this is 39 millimeters. I'm glad it's 39 millimeters. I prefer 39 to 36. For my 7.5 inch wrist, I think 36 millimeters is just too small. The dial looks really nice. Some people that say that the Rolex should be nicknamed the 420. That just seems immature to me. Just because it is green and leafy does not mean you can smoke it. So I will continue to refer to it as the Palm. It has nice applied baton indices and a triangle at the 12 o'clock. The Rolex, of course, has a crown at the 12 o'clock. And the Parnis word is printed on, and there is no logo, although there is a logo on the crown. And then on the bottom here, it says automatic, water resistant, and 21 joules. The Miyota has 21 joules also, so you're going to have the same joule count, whichever movement you pick. It has a flat sapphire crystal with a pretty good Cyclops. If you look at that Cyclops there, it magnifies that date a lot. It looks like a full 2.5 magnification. I don't know if you can see, but if you look at the date window underneath the Cyclops, it's really small. So it does a really good job of magnifying, and it is centered. No matter what you feel about Cyclops or not, if you're going to have one, it's nice that it actually works. I've had a few watches before that have a Cyclops that barely magnify the date at all. And if that's the case, I just wish they'd leave them off. but this one works well. The loomed hands are very thin, and the second hand isn't loomed at all. And the loom strips on these hands are really narrow. The Mingzu movement has a unidirectional rotor because you can really hear it spin. A lot of people are bothered by the spinning noise of a unidirectional rotor. I really don't care. It's not that loud. It's not that annoying. It beats at 21,600, and the one I received has been very accurate. And right now it's coming in at +4 seconds a day, which is pretty good. Here, let me show you the time graph chart I did on it. Once again, I haven't been time graphing NH3536s lately, but I think it's important to time graph these Mingzus since not as many people are familiar with them. Here it is, 4 seconds. Pretty good, huh? The sign crown is a screw down crown. When you unscrew it, the crown is really small. It's kind of hard to get a good grip. And when you fully unscrew it, it doesn't really pop like some of them do. But the movement hand winds when it's in the first position. And the second position is the quick set for the date. It's kind of hard to find the second position, but there, as you can see, there's the date quick setting. And when you quick set the date, you can really feel it. It doesn't really give you a sense of confidence when you're setting the date. So I don't know if it's just a feature of the movement or not. But it works. It just, you can really feel it. Then when you pull it out to the third position, the movement does hack. And then when you set the hands, it works fine. And when you push the crown back in, the minute hand doesn't jump. Keep in mind, if you get the Miyota though, the Miyota 8215 does not hack. When you're done setting the watch, you really gotta push hard when you screw in the crown. And once again, the crown's so small, it's hard to get a good grip. It took me a little practice before I got good at it. The screw down case back is Rolex style with no markings at all. And the coin edge, you need the special opener to open it. Having a screw down crown and a screw down case back, you would think it would have some decent water resistance, but it's only 30 meters, which is the bare minimum. So you wonder, why did they even bother then? If you're going to have a 30 meters water resistance, it would have been nicer if the crown wasn't a screw down. Because you're not going to be taking this underwater with 30 meters. The case is solid stainless steel that is polished everywhere except for the bottom. The bottom is brushed, which is a good indicator that it's solid stainless steel and not chrome plated. The bracelet has solid end links. The bracelet is also a true 5-link bracelet. These things individually articulate. And the bottom of the links are nicely brushed and everything comes together very well. This is a nice bracelet. And it has screw-in links instead of push pins. The heads, though, are really small. I had to use my smallest screwdriver to unscrew the pins. I had to remove 2 links to fit on my 7.5-inch wrist, and then I moved it in one position of the micro adjust. So if you have a very large wrist, bigger than 8, you might have a difficult time fitting into this. The clasp is fully milled and signed. See, very nice. And there's a little, it's not a diver extension, but it's just a little extension. So if you do have a really big wrist, you can move it out just a little bit. You need to do this when you change the micro adjust position. And once again, there's only 3 positions of micro adjust. I usually prefer 4, but in the case of a 5-link, I can't say the official word, In the case of a 5-link bracelet, the links are really small, so 3 is fine because you can adjust it so it's in the middle position, and then you always have that one link that you can make it smaller or bigger. Here's the watch on my 7.5-inch wrist. Looks nice, fits well, comfortable. I'm not going to show it to you on other straps because I really think the bracelet it comes with really makes the watch, and I just don't think anybody's going to be putting it on other straps unless you have a huge wrist and just can't wear the bracelet it comes with. Here we are in the Lume room. I don't have too much faith in the Lume in this watch due to the really tiny hands, but let's go ahead and check it out anyway. Let's give it a good charge with the UV flashlight. Once again, my camera is not good enough to show it to you without charging the watch first. Alright, let's go ahead and shut off the lights. And there's the Lume. As you can see, the index Lume isn't too bad. But once again, the hands are really thin. And they're starting to fade already. So I can't imagine that the hands will last near as long as the index Lume. And no matter how good your index Lume is, if you can't see the hands, what's the point? So I'm going to have to give this Lume just average. In fact, I'm going to have to give it a D- due to the tiny hands. Look at the hands. They're almost gone already. What do I like about this watch? Well, the first thing I like is the dial. They really nailed the dial. It looks a lot like the Rolex dial. And the dial is the reason why you would buy this watch to begin with. So that's the most important thing, and they nailed it. I like that it has a proper Cyclops. And I like that it has a true 5-link bracelet and not a fake one. And I like the clasp. It looks really nice, fully milled. And I like the fact that it has screw-down sizing links. What are my gripes and groans? Well, the tiny crown for one thing. It's really hard to unscrew and screw back down. And when you change the date, it feels really clunky. It just gives you this feeling that it might break. Hopefully it won't. I don't like the fact that there's only 30 meters of water resistance, despite the fact that it has a screw-down crown and screw-down case back. And I don't like the fact that there was no box. I mean, you pay $100 for a watch, you should at least get a box. And I don't like the fact that the Lume on the hands is just totally inadequate. There's no point of having decent index Lume if you can't see the hands. Do I recommend this watch? Yes, it looks great, and it's a full-size alternative to the 36mm Rolex Datejust that has the similar dial pattern. I might suggest you spend the extra $10 though and get the Miyota movement. Unless hacking is very important to you, because remember, the Miyota does not hack. Well, thank you for watching my review of the Parnis Palm. Be sure and like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll be back with another review. Bye.